Okay, and now for example 3. So we are getting into now multiplying and dividing by negative numbers. So before we do, I've got this slide, which if you want to pause it and take a minute to read it, that would probably be the best, but I'm not going to read it word for word. I'm just going to summarize it. And basically what it's saying is that we have a big change here. And that is that whenever we are multiplying or dividing by a negative number to solve, we are going to flip the inequality sign. So just like we did when we were reading it from X's point of view, if we divide or multiply by a negative number, we're going to flip the inequality sign. So like on here, let me show you what that looked like. To go from this step to this step right here. Maybe if I had the drawing tool. Notice how when they divided by that -2, they flipped that sign. So that's what we're going to be working with on the next two examples. And here's a little bit better look at what I was talking about. And I also got a little meme here to remind you in case you happen to forget. Okay, for example 3, part A. Notice that this one is dividing by a negative. So if we look for the y, I should say the variable's y, and notice that it is being divided by -3. So because this is a negative, and the inverse operation of divide is to multiply, in order to get y isolated by itself, we're going to be doing the opposite of divide by -3, which is to multiply by -3. So I'm going to multiply this side by -3, and because we're treating this like an equation, we're also going to multiply this side times -3. So let's go ahead and cancel all this stuff out. So I'm left with y on this side. But remember, because I did this, I have to do what to my sign? Brand new rule, we're going to flip that sign. So instead of saying less than, we're going to say greater than. And then on the other side, we've got -3 times 2. So a -3 times 2 is a -6. But to graph this, we would want to read this from y's point of view. So this says, I'm going to read y first, write that down, y. Now because the arrow is pointing at y, we still want it to point at y. So this says y is less than -6. So let's graph that. So first I have to decide where my -6 is. I'm going to pick somewhere right in the middle. And now I have to decide if I have an open or a closed circle. So this circle does not have an equal sign or equals to, so it's just going to be an open circle at -6, and then it's going to be everything less than -6. So it's shaded in to the left, which is less than. So the biggest change on this one is this flipping the inequality sign when we divide by a negative. So that negative was what caused us to flip it. So I would like for you to go on and try example 3B, which is very similar to the example we just did. And hopefully you will have some success with that. Good luck.